team is so good at taking the ball away, and you too in particular.
Just something we emphasize in practice, and we didn't do that as well last year, so we wanted to kind of get back to taking the ball away and helping our offense out. So I think that's probably why.
Verone, I think this Stanford team is a squad that can do a lot of different things offensively, pound the rock, and a lot of big physical receivers. What are you seeing on film that maybe is going to be key to lock in on?
Identifying who's in the game, because they run so many different personnel sets with so many different fullbacks, tight ends, receivers. Some of the receivers are bigger guys that are blockers. Some are speed guys that can really take the top off the defense. So just really identifying who's all coming in and out of the game and knowing the situation where we're at in the field. Those are probably the biggest keys.
Changing the quarterback with Tanner McKee now, and just what have you seen from him and just what makes him so good?
He's really mature in the pocket, very poised. I think he does a great job of making good decisions and not really turning the ball over as much. And he runs our offense really efficiently. So I think, trying to confuse him will definitely be key.
You lead the team now in interceptions. Bennett's got 2, Michael's got 1. How much competition is there between that defensive backfield, in practice to have the team lead?
Well, it's definitely been huge because Bennett got the first one in Arizona, and he was like, "I'm tied with you." So I was like, "Oh no, not for long." And so that competition is something you want in the defensive back room, and everybody's pushing to beat each other, and that's what makes it fun. To have that competitive spirit in our room makes it even more fun. So,
what's it like having Bennett manning the flat underneath you?
Bennett. It's like, okay, so we play like on a string almost. We're tied, we're connected, so it's like I allow Bennett can go, be free, does what he needs to do, and I'm always going to be on top. I'm always going to make sure we're good and nothing's behind us. So it allows for him to be free and go make plays and do what he does. And then for me, I know kind of what's going on, so it's the general. I make sure we're all good, everybody knows the play, what we're identifying, what we're looking at, and able to stay on top of the defense and come down and make tackles and do whatever. So that's what helps us both out.
What have you seen from his growth to become a starter this season?
He's already played football. He was a freshman All-American, and so the mental side for him is easier than you would think. And then, of course, he has the physical tools as well. And just putting that hand in hand and him having the opportunity, he's made the most of it. Really good ball skills, super smart, not afraid to get in the box and make tackles. So that star position has been real big and good for him. And I think he's done a great job.
Last week on the coach's show, Coach Yates was talking about how after that Ohio State game, you were in his office ready to get to work on Stony Brook early the next day. Just as a competitor, what do you like about preparing for an opponent and just kind of that process?
Well, of course, everybody wants to say you're this great, you're that good. But at the same time, people saying I shouldn't have been out there against Auburn. So for me, it was like we got to get right back to work. You got to stay humble and stay hungry because they can all be taken away if you take it for granted, or if you get too high, you don't play well the next game. So always about getting back to the next game, being 1-0, seeing what I did wrong and what I can improve on, even though I did make great plays or whatever it is, because we're trying to play a full 15 games. So if I'm settled off of game 2, I'm not going to be able to progress through game 3, 4, 5. So that's what it all takes. And just the way I've been raised, it's always you can't let what happened in the past dictate everything you do going on. You got to be able to move on, correct it, and keep getting better. So
when you're looking at film, where do you think the secondary can still get better? What do you guys still critical of?
Just working as a collective unit. Sometimes, you see us where we're spinning or doing whatever, and it's like, oh, you got to go here. So just not being as hectic, being very poised within the snap whenever there's motions and things like that, and just working all together as a corner, nickel, safeties, wherever we spin, or if there's a check we need to bump over, whether it's zone, man, just all working together. I think that's what we need to improve on.
What's made the secondary so effective in preventing the deep ball over the top? I don't think it's happened all that often this year so far.
It's hard to beat a team when you don't give up explosive plays. So we already said, first things first, we're not giving up any more explosives. We had some, I think last year we didn't do as well of a job of, letting things get behind us and everything. So playing with good eyes, being prepared, and just making sure that we stay on top. You stay on top and able to come back down the routes, be aggressive and physical at the catch point helps us with PBUs and getting interceptions. So putting that all together is probably the main key for staying on top of things.
Just a combination of we think you'll make a mistake and we'll make you pay for it type of deal?
Definitely. You make a mistake, we're going to make you pay for it. But at the same time, we've been more aggressive, especially just continuing through week 1, 2, 3. You see a lot of guys getting in people's faces and things like that. So we're still progressing and just doing a great job of it.
You mentioned that aggression a couple of times. I think it was the Ohio State game and the Stony Brook game, not so much this past week. DeRuyter blitzed you inside the red zone. This is a deep safety. How do you feel about that when you have that opportunity in the red zone of all places?
So for me, I do everything. So I cover slot receivers, I cover tight ends, I blitz, I play in the box, I play single high. So just being in a defense where we're multiple, we have different sets, different personnels, and then the ability for me to go ahead and blitz, it always keeps people on their toes. You don't know whether I'm blitzing, Noah's blitzing, Bennett's blitzing, we may have Michael blitz. Everybody in defense has to know how to blitz. We've been saying that, so it keeps defenses on their toes, and you don't know when it can come. So that's just Coach DeRuiter doing a great job of play calling and understanding the situation and just applying it to what's going on.
You guys always preach next man up. That's, I mean, pretty much every team does. At a certain point, does there come a point though, Verone, for instance, like with Stanford, when they're down 3 running backs and they only had 1 really available last week? Does there not come a point where if an offense is down too many weapons that it just changes tendencies? It just changes how you guys have to go about defending and even preparing for them if they just don't have enough guys?
It definitely, it shakes things up a little bit just because you understand that they're limited there, but at the same time, you got to be prepared because guys come back from injuries and, coaches like to hide different things. So somebody could come back, they have 3 running backs back this week and boom. So you got to prepare the same still for those scenarios. So of course, it's something you pay attention to, but you got to prepare for the same thing. And you see those guys in the film, so you're still going to be ready for it. So if they are going to be out there, you're prepared.
Speaking of tendencies, Stanford's known for taller receivers, jump balls on the outside, that kind of thing. What are some technical things you do to, defend against that sort of play?
It's kind of like basketball. You don't want him to box. They box you out. That's something, we've all seen that over and over again. So from a technical standpoint, you don't want to be on their back. That's the main thing, especially with a bigger body guy. You don't want to be in their back who just box you out. So owning your leverage, taking that away, and just playing through the hands. It's hard to catch. My dad always taught me it's hard to catch a football without elbows. It's really hard. So things like that, and then of course being able to play fast. If you know it's coming, go get it right away. So those are some things.
This program's been very successful, and I think everyone's excited to play you guys, whether it's here or there. Now that the number 3 rankings with you, how has this team handled preparing every week for a team that's probably going to give their best shot all year against you guys?
We've done a great job. We're not complacent. We feel we still haven't played our best football, and we haven't been consistent enough. And we feel like we need to continue getting better. And guys come in every week. We come in Sunday, and we're like, all right, what do we do wrong? How can we correct it? And we get ready for the next week. And that mentality has been the same thing. Everybody hears the 1-0 and thinks it's just a mantra, but it really means something because we wanted to be 1-0 in everything we do, from how we prepare to how we take care of our bodies to game days. So putting that all together and just understanding that we are not a finished product is super big, and just us continuing to get better and taking that ranking, and we know what it is, but every game's a playoff game. So that's how we prepare.
It's going to sound obvious, but how much of a difference will it be for KT to be back for more than 10 snaps? Just what it does for snap distribution, and if with him and Mace back, if it allows Brandon to go more inside, just the dominoes that go into effect with him back for more.
Whenever we have pressure up front and you don't know who's going to give you that pressure, whether you try to slide to KT and here comes Mace, you try to double team Dorlish, here comes KT, you have Christian Williams, you have Jason Jones, who's been doing really well, you have Noah Sewell shooting gaps, so it keeps people on their toes, and of course it helps us in the secondary because there's pressure up front, so you don't have to cover as long, and if you do, there's going to be bad decisions made. So.
All right, thanks, Verone.
Appreciate it, Verone.